Okay, so we have finished the continents and the oceans, so we are moving on to Europe. Turn in your social studies book to page 244. Okay, so on page 245, you are looking at the continent of Europe. And as you can see, Europe has many different countries. It has Iceland and Norway and Sweden and Finland. There's Ireland, there's the United Kingdom, Portugal, Spain, France, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, Italy, Austria, Poland, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Bulgaria. There's too many to even talk about with you, but all those are countries in Europe. And the first thing we're going to talk about is what Europe looks like. So if you turn the page to page 246, again, here is another map of Europe. It's showing a little bit different. It's showing kind of the elevation, meaning how high something is. As you can see, there's lots of mountains in Europe, but there's also lots of flatlands. It's kind of a variety of lands in Europe. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to read page 247 to you right now. So I need you to point as I'm reading, and every once in a while, I will stop and ask you a question. If you don't know the answer, rewind the tape or reread what I am reading for you. Okay, so look for the answer. There's a way to get all these answers correct. Either rewind the video or reread for yourself on page 247. All right, so the main idea, look at that white box at the top, is that Europe is made up of several peninsulas and varied land regions and climates. The word varied means different. So, like you have a varied school menu, lunch menu, that means it changes according to what day it is. It varies, it changes. All right, here we go. Europe is a peninsula of peninsulas. Now, a peninsula is a body of land surrounded on three sides by water. So I want you to go back over to that map for a second. Do you see how Europe is the part that's in green, okay? And then the part that they don't have showing, the kind of the brown section, that's Asia. And you should know that from the continent test, but that's Asia. And if you can see, Europe is connected to Asia. So that part is land to land. But if you trace your finger around the rest of Europe, you're going to find that there's water on all the other sides. If you come all the way around, go to the end of Portugal, up around Spain, down by Italy and Greece, there is water all around it except for where it touches Asia. That's called a peninsula because a peninsula has water on three sides, but is connected to land on one of the sides. Now, what they say is that it's a peninsula of peninsulas. So let me explain that a little bit more. That's a huge peninsula. The whole continent is a peninsula. But if you look at Europe, so go back over and look at that map, look at Italy. Do you see, that's the one that looks like a boot at the bottom. Do you see how Italy is connected to Switzerland on one side, but all the rest of it, there's water all the way around it? That's a peninsula. When you think about the United States, Florida is a peninsula. It's attached to Georgia at the top, but on the other three sides are the Atlantic Ocean or the Gulf of Mexico. So that's a peninsula too. So a peninsula has land on one side and water on three other sides. All right, here we go. A peninsula of peninsulas. Europe forms the western peninsula of Eurasia, the land mass that includes Europe and Asia. In addition, Europe contains several smaller peninsulas, including the Italian, Scandinavian, and Iberian. Europe also consists of significant islands, including Great Britain, Ireland, Greenland, Iceland, Sicily, and Corsica. Now remember, an island has water all the way around it. So if you go up to where it says the United Kingdom, look at that map real quick. The United Kingdom, or England, is what they're talking about. If you trace your finger all the way around it, there's water on every side of it, so it's an island. All right, next paragraph. 4 land regions form Europe. The western uplands are made up of uplands, go figure, or hills, mountains, and plateaus. So lands that are up make up the uplands that stretch from the Scandinavian peninsula to Spain and Portugal. The northern European plain is made up of lowlands, so that's lower. That's not going to have any mountains or hills. It's very low land. The northern European plain is made up of lowlands that reach across northern Europe. The central uplands, so right in the center of Europe, are uplands. So if you look at look at that map. Do you see how kind of in the center of it, you see the brown areas? That's in the center of Europe, and those are uplands. Those are going to be mountains and hills. The central uplands are hills, mountains, and plateaus at the center of Europe. And then finally, the Alpine region consists of the Alps and several other mountain ranges. So come down a little bit further. And do you see at the very bottom where you see Greece and Bulgaria and Bosnia and Herzegovina? Those are areas, and even into Italy, those are all called the Alps. Those are mountain ranges. And they're at the bottom. All right, varied climates. Again, varied means different. So there's all kinds of different climates, really just like the United States. If we went to Florida during the winter, I wish, it would be warmer than it is in Indiana because we have varied climates according to where we are. Well, the same is true in Europe. If you're up further away from the equator, it's going to be colder. If you're closer to the equator, it's going to be warmer, just like the United States. Most of Europe lies within the humid temperate climate region. The North Atlantic Drift, an ocean current of warm water, keeps temperatures relatively mild. Winds also affect climate. The Sirocco sometimes blows over the Mediterranean Sea and brings wet weather to southern Europe at different seasons. The Mistral is a cold wind that sometimes blows through France and brings cold, dry weather to the country. In general, a Mediterranean climate brings mild, rainy winters and hot, dry summers and supports a long growing season. Hardy plants grow best in this climate. In contrast, Eastern Europe has a humid continental climate with long, cold winters. I'm not moving there. Iceland, Greenland, and northern Scandinavia have a polar climate and a limited growing season.